Welcome to SF Commercial Property Conversations with Bruce Bean, where Bay Area investments meet expert insights. Get ready to unlock the strategies of commercial real estate success.
So today we have Breck Bard with us, and Breck and I have a little bit of a similar background in terms of we both came from the world of architecture into commercial real estate. So Breck, it's great to have you, the another BB on the line, so to speak. So give us a little clue of how you got to where you are, Breck.
Thanks, Bruce. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. I've been doing commercial real estate on the principal side for about the past 7 years. Before that, I was an architect. Still maintain my license, but obviously no longer practicing. I began as an undergraduate at Tulane University, where I studied computer engineering,
Oh,
and wound up minoring in architecture because they have a very strong architecture program. And unfortunately graduated in 2003 during the dot-com bust. So there were very few jobs for computer engineers at that point, especially coming straight out of school. And at that point, I had already decided I wanted to pursue architecture eventually, so I just went back to straight to get a master's of architecture degree at Georgia Tech. At which point I was able to move out to San Francisco to work for HOK for a number of years before, going to some other Smith Group and Heller Mannis, and then ultimately deciding I wanted to get into the owner side after, I graduated 2007, moved to San Francisco just in time for the great financial crisis. And I saw all of these macroeconomic events that I didn't understand because they don't teach about finance in either engineering or architecture. And I interviewed a lot of other architects who became developers, and it seemed the common path to get into the field was through the MBA program. Berkeley Cost has an amazing real estate program within the school. Um, so that was really a no-brainer. I did the evening weekends MBA program, and while I was there, I transitioned from working as an architect to working as an asset manager for bridge housing for a few years. And then after graduation, I had the opportunity to join my current company, LVG, on the redevelopment of Hilltop Mall in Richmond with master plan to revitalize the mall, bring it back up to Class A status, add apartments and office buildings to the very large parking lot, to your traditional suburban shopping mall with four anchors. So I joined them in 2019, and obviously just in time for the COVID, which unfortunately brought an end to the Hilltop project. They sold it to Prologis. That's now talking to the city of Richmond about coming up with a new master plan to redevelop that site. Um, but they liked me enough to keep me on, and now I'm helping again on the asset management side, primarily helping manage our existing assets, um, while we go through tariffs and all sorts of other shocks to the market and wait for interest rates to come down a little bit and prices in construction to stabilize and inflation to settle before, pursuing new acquisitions again.
but you're still kind of looking in the acquisition world. You're seeing a lot of stuff kind of coming across your desk, but nothing's kind of making, nothing's kind of working in terms of the split between acquisition costs and return.
Correct. Yeah, yeah. Cap rates, especially because with the decrease in demand for office over the past few years, a lot of developers who would typically focus on office or maybe industrial or multifamily are starting to put money into the retail sector.
Mm.
The cap rates in the retail, at least here on the West Coast, are lower than where my company would like to see them before we go pursue additional acquisitions. And of course, interest rates remain high, although there's always talk from the administration about lowering interest rates. World events seems like that might not happen, in the reliably foreseeable future. So,
Yeah,
being a
it's
small boutique
volatile
firm,
times right now, no doubt about it. So it's hard to put anything out on your crystal ball, I'm sure.
Yeah, at the end of 2024, and then certainly, through 2025, I think market sentiment was thinking that 26 was going to be a great year and things were going to take off again. That I think is remains to be seen. If market uncertainty is going to stabilize to the point where people are, feeling comfortable enough to make large investments. And fortunately, the structure of our firm is such that it's primarily the principal's money, and there's not outside investors, so we don't have to be collecting development fees just to keep the doors open. So we're able to sort of sit and strategically wait until the market conditions, favor acquisitions again.
But it sounds like you're trying to, during this period, you're starting to work with the AI and trying to develop new techniques to try and streamline your whole process, it sounds like.
Yeah, I mean, we like to stay on top of sort of emerging trends and technology. Just today we were talking about using AI to help streamline our process of sending notices to our tenants,
Mm,
uh, because AI chatbots certainly make it much more efficient to write notices, to send out, so we can effectively do more with less. I mean, we hear a lot about how it's improved coding, and coding, programmers are able to manage the chatbot instead of actually writing code themselves. Um, we're beginning to experiment now with using AI to help sort of speed up and streamline our workflows. So we're able, because we are a small team. There's we have an on-site property manager, two accountants, and myself, in addition to the partners. So using those tools to help us do our work more efficiently helps keep communication with the tenants a little more efficient.
So I'm curious, are you actually using AI to actually send out your notices?
Well, we always proofread, because although hallucinations seem to be less frequent than they were when AI came on the
Okay.
scene,
Yeah.
yeah, at this point, I would not trust it to be sending anything out or automating
Mhm.
anything completely without human oversight. And in my personal experience, I find even when drafting um, the written letters, notices, it will sometimes go through several revisions. So,
Mhm.
write a draft, ask it to proofread it, and then revise what I get back, and then send it through that cycle two or three times before I'm comfortable with a final official version, um, which certainly is, much more efficient than writing it from scratch every time.
Yeah, no, I use it a lot for email and different aspects. It is incredible what it can do, but as you say, it needs some oversight, so to speak. It's in its adolescent years, shall we call it. We need some overview.
Yeah, yeah. Although it's amazing, yeah, the new tools that they're coming online with every day with this technology and integration with spreadsheets and other, being able to help with manage our website SEO and
Oh,
everything.
oh, that's interesting. Oh, I hadn't thought about that. Oh, okay. So that's an interesting use. So how does that work? Do you ask it to can you uh, do some optimization and it'll figure it out for you?
Uh, yeah. So it can, certainly review the existing website, review the source code for the website, and make recommendations. And then so just like writing an email, it gives suggestions that then we as human operators are able to then sort of implement, yeah, as we see fit, and make sure it's not making any kind of mistakes and before we sort of publish the updates to the website.
Oh, that's intriguing. Well, you having a computer background, does that have some advantage?
I certainly think it makes the technology more accessible to me, because as an architect, listeners might be familiar with building information modeling, BIM, which is sort of the new drafting standard with software like Revit. And
Right, right.
so when I was coming out of grad school for architecture, that was, something I was able to sort of very easily pick up, and part of how I was able to get a job as entry level architect at HOK. Um, and was able to then sort of explain and help my coworkers on how to use these tools. So um, I've always had sort of an innate ability to understand and integrate new technology into my workflow, and then sort of help my coworkers um, who aren't necessarily as um, quick to pick up on new technology.
Well, I'm curious, a lot of architects during that down period went into gaming because there was sort of a natural
Yeah.
extension of architecture. But
Yep.
you never went there, it sounds like.
Um, Yeah, no, I certainly remember the summer of 2009, I believe it was, people referred to it as fun employment when there was,
Oh, wow.
and
Yeah.
for a number of years after that, I would get contacted by recruiters who were looking for, there sort of became a gap in our cohort of that sort of level I was at within the architecture field, where a lot of people did leave and they went to do CGI for movies and and video games like you mentioned, and other sort of ancillary creative fields where architecture skills could be applicable. So there was sort of a gap in knowledge and experience, which for me benefited that I was constantly being sought after, but
Oh,
is
that's
also
cool.
an
Yeah.
issue to this day. And then certainly we experienced it again during COVID when a lot of people started working from home, and even, in architecture, and you had new entry level architects who aren't getting that in-person mentorship and experience from the sort of
Wow.
mid-level and senior architects. So again, there's a bit of a knowledge gap that the industry, I think, is going to have to overcome. And maybe with the rise of AI tools, because I have seen them starting to um, certainly not produce construction documents at the level that would be usable.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But
Okay.
seeing the advancement in AI, it certainly makes me believe that we're not too far off from some of the more mundane drafting tasks to be done, automated, just like computers can help draft the lease amendment, or they can write code now, and it just takes a mid to senior level person to oversee and make sure that the AI is actually producing something usable and not hallucinating. Um, I think we'll definitely see the rise of that in architecture as well.
So I am curious, in your current role, do you use your architecture very much these days?
Only to the extent of project management, even
Mm,
though I'm not necessarily on site. Certainly, in a multi-tenant uh, shopping center, we have, we're constantly just having natural turnover of as some tenants leave, we get new tenants in. We'll have to demise spaces. I mean, one good example is the Sears at the shopping center we're in our current portfolio. Of course, everybody knows the story of Sears, being shut down and
right.
closing. And so we backfilled Sears with J.C. Penney and Burlington,
Oh, okay.
not
Yeah.
JC, TJ Maxx,
Oh,
TJ
okay.
Maxx.
Right.
So we had to subdivide. and then actually a handful of other small shops. Because so you're talking about a 60,000 square foot big box store being subdivided into like a 30,000, a 20,000, and then like another 10 to 14,000 square foot units.
Wow.
And so yes, like my construction administration experience in architecture has certainly benefit to the development side, where a lot of my classmates from Haas, for example, were coming from, like maybe careers at Bank of America, or they were coming from the financial side and really had little experience with the more physical construction side of our business. So
Right, right. So that is a distinct advantage, no doubt. So particularly when it comes to project management, that can be dicey if you're not used to going through that process. So
uh,
very
yeah,
interesting. Yeah.
yeah, and for a large, a million square foot interior shopping mall like Hilltop, that was, the original plan was I would be spending a majority of my time sort of overseeing the construction of that, or overseeing the contractor as they were building that out, which unfortunately, again, with COVID, that sort of put an end to that project.
So, okay, so this has been very educational. I look forward to talking to you again in 3 to 6 months to see what's happening out there, given the crazy world that we're in right now. So, if people are looking to get a hold of you, if they've got a shopping center with a great spread on it, where would they get a hold of you?
Well, certainly through email. You have my address up on the screen, and also LinkedIn is an act. I'm very active with my LinkedIn profile. So those are two of the best ways to get in touch with me.
Well, Breck, this has been very intriguing. And as I say, I look forward to talking to you again in the very near future. So let's keep in touch and
Yeah,
see if the market turns around a little bit here. Who
yeah.
knows?
Fingers crossed. Thanks for having me, Bruce. I appreciate the opportunity to come talk with you.
That's a wrap on today's journey through the SF commercial real estate scene. Ready to share your story? Visit sfcommercialconversations.com/guest. Your insights could lead the next conversation.